Abra, Kadabra, Alakazam! The Psy Pokémon are our heroes today. Welcome everyone, I'm Exceptional and I hope you are too. Today we will be seeing how quickly I can defeat Pokémon FireRed, including the Round 2 Elite Four, using only my starter Abra, whom I will allow to evolve. There are further details in the description, but my general rules are, I can only use my starter in battle, no items in trainer battles except held items, no glitches, exploits, or RNG manipulations, and I don't particularly like accuracy or evasion strategies, so I will tend to avoid them. Alakazam is without a doubt one of the most powerful Pokémon from the first generation. Once we're fully evolved, we will become a hauntingly dangerous foe to face. As we evolve from Abra to Kadabra to Alakazam, we gain a spoon with every evolution, becoming a serial killer? Cereal? Spoons? Get it? I'm so pleased with myself. We have to get there first though, and Abra has some issues. Ignoring our incredibly lopsided stats for a moment, Abra starts with only the move Teleport. This move does absolutely nothing in trainer battles, so it's no surprise that our rival takes us down. How the heck am I supposed to get anything accomplished? Well, with liberal supplementation of potions, of course. After delivering Oak's parcel, it's time to make our way to Viridian Forest. I want to find some wild cocoon Pokemon to grind against because they, at least, can't hit back. First, I have to deplete all of my PP with Teleport, meaning getting into 20 wild battles to use it and teleport right back out. As I'm doing this, I'm running around grabbing the items on the ground for some additional cash if I need more potions. Once we've depleted our PP, it's time to use Struggle. You better believe I'm saving reasonably often in this section, because this is going to be tedious. We grind against wild Metapods and Kakunas, healing in between, trying to save my potions until they'll recover me for as close to 20 HP as possible, optimizing their efficacy. I feel that no items in battle extends to the wild battles, barring Pokeballs of course. Okay, about those base stats now. In Generation 3, Struggle uses your physical attack for typeless damage, but Abra's physical stats are lacking, to say the least. It's what we have to work with though, and I don't see Brock being even remotely possible until we grind using this exact strategy until level 16 when we evolve into Kadabra and learn Confusion. Alright, at 4:40 on the timer, let's jump ahead a bit in the grind. Nearly 5 minutes later, I've leveled up to 10 and feel like I can start attempting trainers. They're more risky to battle, but yield much more experience and faster. We're gonna need every advantage we can get in this early section. There isn't much I can do against a turn 1 poison from Weedle though, so we actually take our first reset. Jumping ahead another 7 minutes, I've reached level 15 with Abra. Just for kicks and giggles, I wanted to attempt Brock to show you how woefully underprepared Abra is for this battle. No fancy intro here, just a quick stomping to reinforce what I already know to be true. We need to gain one more level. In addition to being quite weak physically, our other disadvantage to using Struggle is the recoil damage. Even if we do only 1 damage, it still pays 1 back to us, so we're taking a lot of additional damage over the battle. But hey, good on ya, Abra. You got Geodude under half before getting taken out. Alright, let's finish this. At nearly 20 minutes, I'm in the grass just south of Pewter City finishing my grind. At this point, I have the stats to grind against Rattatas and Pidgeys for the much more useful Speed EVs. Just so you know, I'm also flat broke. Everything has been invested into potions, including selling some Pokeballs. Finally, we level to 16 and start evolving. Now get ready for this run to completely change pace. Kadabra gets some decent stat boosts, but more importantly, we learn Confusion. We finally have an attacking move. Now let's go give Brock a real attempt. So here's the thing, we just went from using a 50 base power typeless attack backed by a 20 base power stat to using a 50 base power stab or same type attack bonus boosted attack backed by a 120 base special attack stat, also targeting Brock's weaker special defense stat. So, we one-shot both Geodude and Onix. Okay, bye Brock. The following section is a joke. I blast through, clearing only 1 additional trainer as I'm tired of grinding. That additional trainer is the Rocket that guards TM46 Thief, a 40 base power dark move, so we have some coverage now. Confusion is absolutely rocking the early game, one-shotting so far everything that we've encountered. I make sure to grab the Helix Fossil. Let's see how many of these we can get away with. On my way out of Mount Moon, I also stopped to grab Mega Punch from the move tutors here. I know I just finished illustrating how useless our physical stats are, but it's nice to have the option just in case. Now in Cerulean City, I feel like our best shot is against Rival 2. We finally can't one-shot something in the rival's Pidgeotto, who uses a Tackle, Quick Attack, Wombo combo for around a third of our health as we bring it down. Rattata falls in 1, leveling us up, and we learn Psybeam. I choose to teach it over Teleport, but I won't be doing that in the second playthrough. We'll get to that later though. Psybeam barely misses the one-shot against Squirtle, but we can finish off the battle with a fair amount of comfort. I carve quickly through the following route, only defeating the mandatory trainers along the way. I don't suspect that we're going to need much grinding for a very long while. I skip TM43 Secret Power, rescue Bill, and before heading south to Vermilion City, let's challenge our second gym leader, Misty. Misty is a big reason why I took that detour in Mount Moon to grab Thief. Her lead Staryu is of no consequence to us at all. We outspeed an Oko or one-hit knockout with Psybeam. Starmie is the much bigger threat, and being the water psychic type now would resist our Psybeams. And that's where Thief comes in, hitting for super effective damage, doing around 3/4 of Starmie's health while she fires back a water pulse for around a third of ours. We clean her up on the next turn for an easy second badge. On my way south, I want to discuss our ability. Synchronize will, when we're affected by a status condition, copy that condition to our opponents where applicable. Poison and steel types, for instance, still can't be poisoned. It was between that and inner focus, which prevents flinching, and I didn't see much use for that one in this game. I'm grabbing a few extra items along the way, including the rare candies I find, and useful items like the citrus berry at the north end of Route 6. Our next challenge awaits on the SSN. I elect to not pick up my army of Meowths in this playthrough, as I believe that Alakazam will have enough power to succeed without hidden power. But that opens 2 points. The majority of our learn set is psychic moves, which are amazing, but don't really solve everything, Thief, which we already have, and Shockwave. That's the summary of our special attacking moves. Second, how the heck do we become an Alakazam? It's a trait evolution, and I'm running solo today. Just like my Machamp video, I've used the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to make Abra my starter, also checking the Change Impossible Evos box. This removes the trait requirement for evolution, instead assigning a level that we will evolve into Alakazam at. This level is pre-selected by the software and not something I've assigned, and to be honest, I have no idea how to change it, even if I wanted to. I'm talking about this instead of Rival 3 because we one-shot his whole team. Alright, let's move on to our third gym leader, Lieutenant Surge. I don't have much to say about his lead Voltorb and Pikachu as we outspeed and one-shot both of them. It's when Raichu enters the fray that things get interesting. We are outspeeding, but Psybeam does not get the one-shot, leaving him hovering just above Red Bar. I love this little sequence of events though. Raichu responds with Thunder Wave, paralyzing us, activating our Synchronize ability and paralyzing him as well. Our Cherry Berry then activates, curing our paralysis, so effectively Raichu paralyzed himself. Surge uses a full heal while we take him down. That's 3 badges, gotta love it. Heading towards the mid-game, things are really gonna start accelerating. We have a lot of options and a lot of mandatory trainers to keep us leveled up nicely. I end up having to stop at the Poké Center on Route 10 before entering Rock Tunnel, and this is going to end up saving me some time later. Let's just say that at this point in the run, I can't even fathom what's ahead of me. We carve through the next section with nothing slowing us down. I clear the rocket hideout and it's time to head towards our 4th badge. I have the option of dipping over to Saffron to grab TM29 Psychic for a nice power boost, but we really haven't needed it, and we're about to learn it naturally anyway at level 36. I challenge the trainers on the left-hand side of her gym for the special attack EVs, leveling up and learning Psychic before taking on Erica. This is another battle where there really isn't much for me to say. At this point, we're level 36, slightly over-leveled, so we outspeed and Psychic tears apart her team. As an interesting point, Kadabra alone is more than powerful enough to finish this game without evolving. But where's the fun in that? I want an Alakazam. Alright, that was a really easy gym, let's keep progressing. Alright, it's a fact. There are going to be a lot of battles in this mid-game that there really isn't much for me to talk about. Rival 4 in Pokemon Tower is another series of one-shots. My moveset right now is Psychic, Shockwave, Thief, and Recover. I'm leaning heavily into special attack, which is why I chose the modest nature, increasing special attack and decreasing attack. Sure, a little bit of extra physical damage might have been nice in the early game, but I feel like the late game benefits far outweigh some minuscule time saves at the start of the game. The most exciting thing about Rival 4 is that we level up to 37. After the battle, we evolved into our final form, gaining one more spoon and earning the unofficial title of the Kellogg Killer. I clear the tower and we're now in Silphco gathering items. I was originally going to do a full collection, at the last minute changing my mind and only grabbing the rare candy and carbos from 10F in addition to the items on my direct path towards Rival 5. I have a sneaking suspicion that Alakazam is going to be much more about pushing with speed than optimizing EVs, particularly with an upgrade that we're about to get. Defeating Rival 5 now would be fantastic so that I don't need to backtrack later. Psychic is barely unable to take out Pidgeot in one, but we clean him up on the next turn. His Ace Blastoise is next, hitting super effective Bite for a fair amount of damage while we take him down with 2 more Psychics. We only have 37 health remaining now, but Serial Killer isn't bothered, one-shotting his Growlithe and Exeggcute, then recovering against Alakazam so I can save some potions between battles. We've won this one, no worries. Our next leader is Sabrina, who holds a juicy TM for us. You'd think that she might slow us down a little bit because our strengths align with hers. Nah, Thief one-shots Kadabra and Mr. Mime with Psychic handling Venomoth. Her ace Alakazam is the biggest threat, but we take him out with 2 Thieves while he only sets up Calm Mind. Calm Mind sets up our special attack and special defense by 1 stage. We grab the 5th badge at full health, also grabbing TM for Calm Mind so that we can start setting up our already formidable Serial Killer. In the next section, I get my shopping done at the department store, maxing our special attack with Calcium, and then every last bit we have goes into Carbos for speed. I actually forgot to do this before coming to Fuchsia, so I'm flying back and forth a little bit, but it makes for a great segue leading into our 6th gym leader, Koga. So speaking of finishing gym leaders at 100% health, I would have against Koga, but I didn't start the battle at full health. Here we once again have very little to worry about as Stab's super effective Psychic sears cereal-shaped sections on the minds of Koga's whole team. If the bulkier muck goes down, everything will. We snag our 6th badge and it's off to Cinnabar Island. We are very much in progression mode still, so things are moving quickly as nothing has been strong enough to slow us down in any significant way. I continue skipping as many trainers as I can, following my typical ethos in my first playthroughs: grind as little as possible. My plan for the upcoming section remains the same. I grab the secret key from Pokemon Mansion and let's challenge our next gym leader, Blaine. Serial Killer continues to only need a single strategy: place Cursor over Psychic and win. We one-shot Blaine's entire team with the exception of his ace Arcanine, who comes out hitting a massive Fire Blast for around 2/3 of our health. And that concludes the threat of Blaine. I'll note that we are now an equivalent level to the teams that we are battling, and still we're rolling through them without issue. I haven't even taught my shiny new setup move yet. We defeat Blaine, grabbing our 7th badge. We have a round 2 finish in mind, so I say yes to Bill outside of Blaine's gym to complete the first portion of the Sevii Island plotline. This isn't required solely for round 1, but will be for round 2, which is why I get it done now. It gives us a little more experience while at a lower level before the first Elite Four, and saves us some backtracking later. I'm again skipping all trainers except for the mandatory ones, including in Giovanni's gym. It's time to finish the gym challenge. Something has occurred to me as we come into this final gym leader battle against Giovanni. It took us just over 20 minutes to defeat Brock in the early game. Most Pokemon do that in well under 10. Yet, we're battling our final gym leader at just over an hour, ahead of where a lot of Pokemon are in their first playthroughs at this point. I feel that illustrates how incredibly easily we maneuvered through the game after leveling up to 16. 5 turns and 5 Psychics later, we've leveled Giovanni's team and have completed the gym challenge. We have one final obstacle before the league, Rival 6. We lead off by missing the one-shot against Pidgeot, leaving him at some fraction of a percentage of an HP, and clean him up on the next turn. Blastoise is next, dealing some big damage with Bite while we take him down with 2 Psychics. Now at 53 health for the remainder of the battle, I realize that this is going almost identically to the Rival 5 battle. He has the extra Rhyhorn now, and I use Recover against Growlithe this time for the safety, but after Blastoise fell, there really wasn't any challenge for us. The very last thing I do is teach Calm Mind over Recover before kicking off against the Round 1 Elite Four. Lorelei starts being the Ice-type trainer but having a team that consists primarily of bulky water types. Gen 1. Psychic does about half to her lead Dugong as she responds with an Ice Beam that freezes us. We then stay frozen for the entire battle, getting taken out for our first reset since Brock. Well, that wasn't exactly an auspicious start. I come right back in, setting up 2 Calm Minds this time before going for the knockout. The best part of setting up with Calm Minds here is that it's also increasing our special defense, making us that little bit more bulky for the remainder of the battle. Lapras is out, but our bad luck continues as we deal around 80% of her health, with her responding with Body Slam, also getting the paralysis. We can take out Lapras on the next turn, but paralyzed with 3 more Pokemon to go is never a good position to be in. We don't even make it past the Cloyster, with it taking us down for another reset. Alright, in the next attempt I set up to +3 with Calm Minds, which now allows us to one-shot Lapras. At +3, the remainder of her team stands no chance at all as the infamous Kellogg Crusher, with a K, dismantles her team. We finish the battle 1 level lower than 2 of Lorelei's Pokemon. I feel that this was a fantastic introduction to the league. We can be defeated now, but we can still find success with a little bit of trial and error. Next is Bruno. So, Bruno was a battle that even while I was playing this run, I didn't really pay attention to. Psychic lies in the #1 spot of my moveset, so I only need to mash the A button for the entire fight until we win. Stab, mostly super effective Psychics are far more than Bruno can handle. While playing, I actually spent this battle staring at our learn set, theorizing about upcoming battles. Bruno falls and we're on to Agatha. Being a Generation 1 remake, the Psychic typing is ridiculously strong, if that point hadn't already been hammered in over the last 20 or so minutes. Agatha is the Ghost-type trainer, but being based on a Gen 1 team, every single one of her Ghosts shares the Poison type. The only typing that could take on Psychics in Generation 1 was also paired with a typing that is weak to it. I follow the Bruno strategy, claiming another incredibly easy victory. I wonder when the dominance will end as we head towards Lance. I start by trying to set up against Gyarados when I realize that this is an absolutely terrible idea. On turn 2, he fires off a Hyper Beam, taking us out after he hit a Dragon Rage on the first turn. Okay, let's not do that. This time I set up a single Calm Mind while Gyarados uses Dragon Rage again, but now I switch to 4 times super effective Shockwave to end him before he gets off another Hyper Beam. I continue with Shockwave against Aerodactyl, missing the one-shot, but I could have done it with Psychic. It's amazing. Super effective Shockwave has an effective power of 120, while neutral Stab Psychic has an effective power of 135. Stab can make a big difference. With no additional setup, we ferociously spoon that Puffy Dragonite. Optimal Cuddles. We defeat Lance and move on to the Round 1 champion. I suspect that at only level 56 we can't one-shot Pidgeot, so I go for Calm Mind turn 1, risking that Sand Attack that just hit. It's a reality of the lead Pidgeot as we take him out in one more turn. He sends out Arcanine next, and I can start explaining why I chose the Squirtle team for our rival. Arcanine knows Priority Extreme Speed, using it here for some chunky damage, about a third. The Ace Blastoise himself is next, who along with his bulk in the late game knows Bite in the mid game, and frankly, after running so many bugs, I'm kinda bored of Charizard. Blastoise's bulk saves him, getting in a massive Hydro Pump, so we're now at only 8 HP for the rest of the battle. Unsurprisingly, our 40 base power Thief isn't enough to take down the champ's Alakazam, and we fall. In the next attempt, we make it to Alakazam in better shape and with one extra turn of setup so we can one-shot him this time. Rhydon falls in quick succession, but then comes out Exeggutor, another challenging foe for us as we don't have great moves against it. Thief misses the one-shot and Exeggutor lands the 75% accurate Egg Bomb for another reset. That's 2 runs recently that I've been taken out by Egg Bomb. What is reality anymore? I reset twice more, electing to finally dip into our rare candy stash, using 3 to bring us to level 60 over 2 damage rounding thresholds. The battle progresses more or less like it did in the first attempt, but instead of suffering sand attack, we're a bit more beaten up at +1 special attack and special defense. Blastoise makes a big brain play though, as we miss the one-shot with Psychic and he lowers his head, charging up Skull Bash. Well, Serial Killer obviously sees this as a sign of submission, finishing off the champion's ace. Against his Alakazam, I refuse to smarten up and set up once more with Calm Mind as he goes into a healing loop and I spam Thief. He eventually falls, but sometimes I wonder about what's going on in my head. Rhydon falls, but I'm ill-prepared for Exeggutor again. Fortunately, he misses Egg Bomb and we manage to take him down, becoming the round 1 champs. I think I see what I need to change in order to succeed in this league next playthrough. Alakazam has been an incredibly intuitive run to play, aka Mash Psychic. Serial Killer clocks in with a round 1 time of 1 hour, 14 minutes, and 23 seconds at level 61 with 9 resets. This took 4 hours and 26 minutes of game time. The only chore to do in addition to finishing off the Sevii Island plotline is to grab the item finder and leftovers from Snorlax on Route 11. Leftovers is one of those items that is almost universally beneficial for a solo Pokemon. Unlocking the round 2 league levels us up to 65 and there's nothing else to cover, so let's jump in. Along with some team and moveset changes, all teams have been powered up by around 12 levels. Lorelei's lead Dugong, now at level 64, knows Double Team and loves spamming it at the start of battle. I'll take your Double Team and raise you a +3 super effective Shockwave after setting up, which can't miss by the way. I'm not sure if +3 was necessary, but heck, if Dugong is going to keep setting up, so am I. At +3, we outspeed and take out Lorelei's team. A very strong start to round 2. Against round 2 Bruno, we start to see a glimmer of that problem that I mentioned way back on Route 10 at the Poké Center. Our moveset has remained Psychic, Shockwave, Thief, and Calm Mind in this league, and there are a couple of opponents that just isn't gonna work great against. Steelix is our first encounter with this problem, and our best option against him is Resisted Psychic. I mean, don't get me wrong, even Resisted Psychic is 2-shotting his lead, but when the second one comes out, we're in trouble. He's gonna take 3 Psychics to defeat while hitting us for over half each turn. Bruno defeats us. I still had 9 rare candies burning a hole in my bag, so I used 4, bringing us to level 70 over 2 more damage rounding thresholds. I hope that makes Steelix 2 a 2-shot and we can survive this time. We take down Steelix 1 with the second one coming in as we recover to 109 health with leftovers, just under 60%. He hits and we survive, but it looks like Psychic was doing less than half. Maybe he'll miss, or we can crit. Steelix 2 falls. Bruno's Hitmons and Machamp are just free XP though, as Psychic rounds them down. Next we take on Agatha. Round 2 Agatha, however, struggles from the same problem as her Round 1 counterpart. With the exception of Mischievous, her entire team shares the Poison type again. We outspeed and one-shot Gengar, switching to Shockwave for Crobat to conserve some PP. I miss the one-shot though, and she responds with a super effective critical Shadow Ball, taking us out in 1. The Steelixes cost a few more PP than I'd anticipated, and I only have 4 Psychics left, 3 after the Gengar. I'm forced to go for Shockwave again, but this time at least we survive because she didn't crit. Down goes Crobat, and then it's Psychic, Psychic, Psychic to finish off Mischievous, her Ace Gengar, and Arbok in the back. I haven't even mentioned Serial Killer's base 120 speed, but yeah, it's phenomenal. Agatha falls, and our final round 2 elite is Dragon Doctoral Lance. I heal up between battles, including restoring my PP, and it's time to check this out. I'm not messing about at all with his lead Gyarados. He loves going for Thunder Wave, and I am not getting paralyzed, taking him out immediately with 4 times super effective Shockwave. Kingdra starts setting up Dragon Dances, so I take the cue to set up a single Calm Mind before taking him out on the next turn with Psychic. We miss the one-shot against his lesser Dragonite, taking an Earthquake for over half. So I switch to another Calm Mind while Lance uses a full restore, and now at +2, there's no way. We even outspeed Aerodactyl, so his remaining Pokemon get taken down without issue. Alright, this is it. Time for the Round 2 champion. So remember how Steelix gave us some problems because of our lack of good options against it? Well, the champion has something worse. It certainly isn't Heracross, as I take him out immediately with Psychic. I do not want my speed lowered. The rival's Alakazam comes out and we start having a battle of minds. I set up to +5 while he goes to +3, switching to Shadow Ball. The thing is, in Generation 3, Shadow Ball is physical, so we're taking the full brunt of the super effective move. At +5, we should be fine though, right? I take out Alakazam at 61 health, which will remain at as the recovery from leftovers get cancelled out by Tyranitar Sandstorm. Huh? Oh, the 90s kid in me got distracted again. Anyway, meet Tyranitar, the crux of my success in this battle. At +5, Shockwave misses the range, bringing T-Tar into deep red bar while he fires back an Earthquake, absolutely ending us. That is some bad news bears, so let's start skipping ahead a bit to see how long I'm stuck here. Jumping ahead around 5 minutes and 7 resets, I've used every rare candy to my name and been playing around with different amounts of setting up / damage taken against Alakazam. I can't set up at all against Heracross, by the way. Megahorn just flat one-shots us. I've finally figured a way past Tyranitar, but remember what I said about the Blastoise team in round 1? Arcanine follows T-Tar, and priority extreme speed is always more than we can take. So I take the reset and white out. It's time for a change in strategy. Whoops, forgot my flyer. Let's just grab that quickly from the PC. Okay, let's do this. First off, PP restoring items are a very limited resource. Given that we're relying primarily on a single attacking move, Psychic, I have to be clever with how I manage my power points. I've used 2 PP ups on it and can now max the PP to 16, but that's not enough for a full league, so I grab the elixir from a nearby bush. Then on the roof at the department store, I trade a soda pop? Nope, that's Safeguard. Lemonade? Yeah, lemonade, to the little girl up here. In return, she gives us TM33 Reflect. It halves the damage done by physical moves, so here's hoping I can find a way to make that work for us. I'll jump us right back to the champion fight, where we can start playing with this new move. After clearing the league again, we're level 80. In my first attempt, I haven't changed anything about my moveset yet. I just want to see how things go at the higher level without any additional changes. My reasonably dialed-in setup gets us back to Arcanine at 59 health, which isn't enough to survive as extreme speed takes us down again. We skip ahead another 5 minutes and another 7 resets, and I feel like I've got Reflect working as best as I possibly can. But, it doesn't work all that well, surprisingly. It helps, for sure, but there's so much inconsistency with the number of turns that we're taking anyway that it ends up neither helping nor really hurting us. I had one attempt where I made it to Arcanine with 79 health and Reflect up, and I feel like we would have had that one, but he crit. Well, let's take the white out again and go grab another option that I fall back onto a lot in my runs. I forget my flyer again. What's that behind you? Haha, you saw nothing. Regular viewers of the channel know that we're, of course, going for Substitute. I'm hoping that it gives us enough protection against Alakazam that we can set up more effectively while recovering from leftovers. Also, because I am flat out of PP restoring items, we fly back to Route 10, surfing south to the power plant for another elixir. Remember when we were 34 minutes into this run on a roll and healing here for convenience? Gosh, I had no idea how thankful I'd be to have this fly location as we near the 2-hour mark hunting for more PowerPoint items. This round 2 champion has taken me by surprise, big time. Skipping right back to the champion again, let's see how we do here with good old reliable Substitute. It sacrifices a quarter of our HP to put up a decoy with HP equivalent to what we sacrificed. This guards us against status moves, as well as when the decoy breaks, no damage rolls over onto our Pokemon. It's fantastic! But once again, after a few attempts, it's quite clearly useless here. Utterly useless. If your opponent can one-shot your decoys, Substitute simply becomes a much more masochistic way to lose a battle, hurting yourself more than your opponents do. It's just a downward spiral. Well, shucks, what the heck am I gonna try next? I white out again, and I swear, 3 for 3 with forgetting my team when I leave. I do realize a little bit late though that I have another option sitting in my bag. My last-ditch effort before resorting to double team or going to level 100 is TM10 Hidden Power. I'm doing this run right after my Butterfree run, so the idea of HP Water was fresh in my mind. It actually works perfectly for us in this situation. I did find it earlier, but realized this too late as I'm already back out of the league. We'll have to clear it one more time. I've been trying to avoid using HP strats if I can because finding it can be so unreliable. In this playthrough, a single Meowth found it around the Blaine section of the game, while in my Magneton video, a whole team of Meowths didn't find it until I purposely set off grinding for it. Anyway, enough blabber. One more league clear and I'll bring us back in at the champ. I'll even replay the intro to make it feel more epic. Yeah, I'm fired up now, let's do this! Psychic has been deleting Heracross since level 72, but it feels really good to show me knocking something out for a change. Now at level 85, I feel it's clear that this run got away from me a little bit. A lot. A lot bit? Alakazam and I trade Calm Minds, then I switch to HP Water for around half while he sets up a second time. I set up to match while he uses Shadow Ball and I strike him down on the next turn. Alright, I have as many appendages as I can manage crossed. We're at +2? Please work. Tyranitar stands no chance this time, falling to a single HP Water. Arcanine is out, and because our health is so high this time, he doesn't go for Extreme Speed and falls to another HP Water. I'll mention quickly HP Water also made Bruno's Steelixes, therefore Bruno as a whole, laughable. Speaking of laughable, our level is so high right now that despite our best move for Exeggutor being resisted, our +2 Psychic still gets the one-shot. His Ace Blastoise quickly follows suit, and it's incredible how easy this battle was once we were past that T-Tar Extreme Speed problem. Well, I feel like it's very clear what the solution to our next run is going to be. Substitute, obviously. Fine, I'll go with Hidden Power. Serial Killer clocks in with a round 2 time of 2 hours and 45 seconds at level 86 with 30 resets. This took 6 hours and 27 minutes of game time. In my second playthroughs, I typically skip by anything that is very similar to the first playthrough as we've already seen it. Get ready for a fast mid-game because as you saw, once we're evolved, we pretty much win until the leagues. I've kept my Abra exactly the same with the Modest Nature and IV set at near perfect with attack, defense, and special attack lowered by 1 to give us Hidden Power Water. I discovered something new in this playthrough. The Mart in Viridian won't let you purchase anything until after you deliver Oak's parcel, even if you leave the building and come back. I don't know if this is useful knowledge, but hey, knowledge is power. I love finding out these little things that I didn't know before. Like in the mandatory catching tutorial, did you know that your Pokemon's ability is active? For instance, when I was running Kyogre, our Drizzle made it rain during the catching tutorial. I wonder if there's some weird way to exploit that fact. Anyway, I'm rambling because in this section before Brock, I had to keep my brain occupied with something while I tried to find cocoons. I get incredibly unlucky this time, actually not finding many cocoons, so I'm running from a lot of wild battles and losing a lot of time. I've been trying to find little time saves where I can, like running through the grass on the way back to Pallet for a little bit more teleport depletion, spending every penny that I had before going into the forest, and slightly reworking my grinding path. I grind to level 10, then continue grinding to reduce my HP so that I can use a potion to the maximum effect and start facing trainers. I start with Bugcatcher Anthony as he only has 2 Caterpies so I won't get poisoned. I then work my way, slowly, through the other trainers while continuing to fight wild battles in between to manage my health as best I can. This culminates just before the exit that leads to Pewter City where I am completely out of potions, completely out of money, almost completely out of health as we struggle down our final Caterpie, ending our grind at 1 hit point and evolving into Kadabra. We are over 20 minutes into the run now, so we did grind a little more slowly than last time, but I had a terrible time finding those cocoons. Now, as a Kadabra, let's blow some stuff up. Later, Brock. We didn't one-shot Onix this time, so I'm glad that I healed at the center before coming in. Alright, that's the early game changes, so let's start roasting through the game. In Mount Moon, I make sure to grab the Helix Fossil. I'm following the same route as last time, also grabbing TM46 Thief again, and teaching Mega Punts on the other side of Mount Moon. This time I'm teaching it not for trainer Pokemon, but to weaken wild Pokemon for catching. I will be grabbing my army of Meowths after defeating Misty. I defeat Rival 2, Misty for our second badge, wreck Rival 3 on the SSN, and then defeat Lieutenant Surge for our third badge. I know I just covered like 10 minutes of events in as many seconds, but we smashed through everything just as easily as last playthrough. If you noticed, our health bar was either full or in high green in each of those victory screens. Let's keep up the pace and enter the mid-game. I clear the rocket hideout and then head to Erica's gym. I'm once again following the same route as last time, as there wasn't really anything to change. Once we evolved into a Kadabra, there wasn't much of anything that could stand in our way, and we're about to evolve again. I then defeat Erica, and we evolve into Alakazam. As a note, we've actually been losing time over last run until this split. We are still behind by just over a minute, but now in our final form, let's continue breaking the mid-game. I defeat Rival 4 in Pokemon Tower, and we're quickly back in Silphco. Here, I'm only grabbing the extra items from 10F, a rare candy in Carbos, and skipping everything else except for the hidden Max Potion and Calcium on 9F because they're pretty much in my path anyway. Just before starting the Rival 5 battle, I check my Meowths, and huzzah! We have found TM10 Hidden Power, though I won't be teaching it for a while. Sweet, that's one less thing to worry about, so I chuck down a quick save just in case. I actually don't think I've saved since the Giovanni battle in the Rocket Hideout. I haven't been showing many battles in this second playthrough yet, and, well, this is why. Even the reasonably threatening Rival 5 team in Silph doesn't stand much of a chance against us. Through the mid-game, I've been rocking a moveset of Psybeam, Shockwave, Thief, and Psychic instead of Recovery for my 4th slot. This gives me all of the power points that I need to avoid Poke Centers through this section, while keeping the option for the much more powerful Psychic to take out powerful foes like Blastoise, who we one-shot with a crit in this battle. Yeah, even the 40 base power Thief cracks up Exegcute and 2-shots Alakazam. We're strong, like really strong, like haven't had a shower in a few days strong. The last of the badges are all super easy for Alakazam, simply spamming Psychic, so let's jump through them really quickly. I defeat Sabrina, and then Koga, and then Blaine, and finally Giovanni. The biggest and really only threat in all of those battles was Blaine's Arcanine. If he'd crit Fire Blast, we would have had a reset, but that was our only danger point. I feel like it absolutely demonstrates how intuitively Alakazam played last run as we defeat Giovanni at the exact same time as last run, 1 hour, 2 minutes, and 20 seconds. We had some bad RNG at the start in our grinding, then regained a bit of time through the mid-game with better PowerPoint routing, but more or less hovered around the same time between badges after defeating Erica. I annihilate Rival 6, finishing the battle at full health, and it's time to jump into the Round 1 Elite Four. I'm gonna do that crazy thing that I've been doing lately with the Round 1 League, supercutting most of it. All of these battles are super easy for Alakazam to handle with our current moveset of Psychic, Shockwave, Thief, and Calm Mind. As such, I'm skipping these ones, as we're going to see very similar battles in the upcoming Round 2 League. I've received a lot of requests lately to display my current moveset on screen. I do plan on implementing this in the future, but due to hardware limitations, I would be forced to do it in post, costing even more time in production. I am continuing to try implementing changes and improvements to my videos, but these things do take time. For reference, roughly speaking, every hour of finished video that you see on YouTube is around 50 hours of effort behind the scenes. That's just to make the videos, setting aside answering comments, building resources, and exploring other ideas. Please be patient with me. I am working my butt off and learning as I go. I've never had any kind of training in making videos, audio recording, or programming. In order to implement the live updating stats and moveset, I will also need to learn how to write code to incorporate them into my overlay. One step at a time, and trust me, I read every comment and write down notes so that I can continue bringing improvements to my content. Thank you all so much for your feedback. I feel like I've rambled enough though. Let's check out this Round 1 Lance battle where I make my flub of the day. I'm not really sure which of Agatha's Pokemon ended up sneaking in a Confuse-Ray against me, but I forget what I learned in the first run, setting up twice against Gyarados, exposing us to that Hyper Beam. We survived, somehow, at 1 HP. Here's to one-shotting everything else? Okay, it's fine, and we missed the knockout against Dragonite for our first reset. Jumping right back in, we're in better shape against Dragonite, missing the one-shot and getting taken out from a healthy green bar with another Hyper Beam. It's at that moment that, super confused, I look down at my notebook in front of me. R1 Lance 60. Huh. I use 5 rare candies, and this is what the battle should have looked like the first time. Oh my goodness, never mind. +1 isn't enough for Dragonite, but his Hyper Beam is more than enough for us. Exceptional has snapped out of confusion. Let's do this properly. Level 60 grants us two benefits. We're now out of range for Hyper Beam even after one turn of Dragon Rage from Gyarados, so we can get both turns of setup in against him. Now at +2 and over 2 damage rounding thresholds at level 60, we can one-shot Dragonite, and therefore the rest of his team. This little goof-up ended up costing about a minute and a half a time, so it's not the end of the world by any means, although it's frustrating. Alright, let's take on the champion. You may have noticed that we're entering this battle after a few more resets. Since Alakazam doesn't have the greatest coverage outside of psychic moves and is quite frail physically, this battle is not 100% consistent. What we have to do is set up a single Calm Mind against Pidgeot, hoping that he doesn't use Sand Attack, as it was the cause of 3 of those new resets. We can't one-shot him without a crit or one turn of setup, so this is a risk that we have to take. This time he goes for Aerial Ace and we take him out with Shockwave. Arcanine will go for Extreme Speed every time in this league. He crit, giving us that other reset before, but if he doesn't, we can take him out immediately with Psychic. We have less health than we want right now, so Blastoise sees the knockout with Hydro Pump, but thankfully misses while I set up one more Calm Mind. I think that at +2 we might have barely survived, but at a slightly higher health he would have either gone for Skull Bash or Rain Dance, which is why I did the extra turn of setup. We need that +2. Thief misses the one-shot against Alakazam, but it's a range, so I get it on the next turn after he heals. I should have used that one extra turn to set up, as you're about to see with Executor after Rhydon falls. We missed the one-shot, getting hit by Egg Bomb, but surviving at 2 HP. Oh my goodness. I go for Thief again, hitting and getting a crit for the victory after he healed. We end the champion battle at just over 1% of our health. Well, I guess it doesn't get much closer than that. Alakazam was a Pokemon that I really felt that I could push to the absolute limit of being able to complete this league. Oh boy, did I ever. Alakazam clocks in with a round 1 time of 1 hour, 14 minutes, and 4 seconds at level 62 with 7 resets. This took 4 hours and 30 minutes of game time. Alakazam has felt like one of those runs that would benefit significantly from upgrading even by a single generation. In Gen 4, Shadow Ball becomes special instead of physical, which would have significantly improved our damage output, likely replacing Thief. As it is though, we have to play with the hand that we're dealt, so I finish the Sevi Island plotline, update my moveset to Psychic, Shockwave, HP Water, and Calm Mind, and we're ready to take on the Round 2 Elite Four. Round 2 Lorelei remains a very straightforward battle. So straightforward, in fact, that I neglected to test her properly. Remember at the end of last run, I was running through this league leveled into the 80s. At only level 67 this time, I skimped on my setup a little bit, resulting in some unnecessary turns against her lead Dugong, with her Jinx eventually putting us to sleep after we missed the one-shot with HP Water. Right, Thief was an effective power of 80 with the type advantage. HP Water is only 70. We get taken down for our 8th reset. It's definitely no secret that I am not the best player out there. I want to continue getting better and improving my strategies and ability to execute them, but trust me, I'm well aware that I do make mistakes. Thank you to everyone who leaves corrections in the comments section to keep me honest. I've learned so much from you already. With a proper setup all the way to +4 this time, we see a completely different battle. I feel like +3 might have been sufficient, but for one extra turn, I'll take the guaranteed win this time. I've had enough resets due to my own silliness already. Next is Bruno. It occurs to me that you haven't seen a battle against Bruno with HP Water yet. Both of his Steelixes go from being problems to being almost free, one-shotting the first and barely missing the one-shot on the second. I could have used the healing turn to set up, but we really don't need it. Once we're through the Steelixes, the rest of his team falls in a single shot each. There's no stopping Stab's super effective Psychic from an equivalently leveled Alakazam. Bruno falls and we have a bunch more Psychics going into Agatha compared to last run. Again, another benefit because of HP Water. Round 2 Agatha is slightly more difficult for us to defeat than Round 1, but I do mean slightly. Given that 80% of his team shares the Poison type, which is weak to Psychic, we can one-shot every single one of them. Misdreavus is the Mono Ghost type, surviving our first Psychic in Red Bar, getting in a Shadow Ball for about half our health. That's about the summary of the threat posed by Agatha. I'll also note that during the battle we leveled up to 69, nice, but we're still one level under her ace. We're blasting through this league at the same level as the teams that we're facing. Agatha falls, so let's go check out the Dragon Doctoral. The round 2 Lance battle remains the same. I take out his lead Gyarados immediately with 4 times super effective Shockwave. I am not messing about with paralysis or getting beat up by that thing. I set up to +2 against Kingdra, which is a bit of a risk considering at +2 with Dragon Dance he outspeeds and one-shots. But he sets up a DD, then goes for Surf, so we take him out. Then, with our setup complete, we carve through his remaining 2 Dragonites and Aerodactyl. We leveled to 70 and we're ready to take on our final challenge, the Round 2 champion. Before beginning the battle, I used 5 rare candies, bringing us up to level 75. The best way to deal with his lead Heracross is still to one-shot it immediately with Psychic. I start setting up against the champion's Alakazam, trying to get a minimum of +2 for the remainder of the battle. We're at a much lower level than last time right now, so when the champion's Alakazam goes for Shadow Ball, it hurts. I get my +2 and knock him out. This battle is now unwinnable at 60 health going into Tyranitar, definitely not helping when I misclick, so I reset before I even get the KO. In the next attempt, I end up in this weird little setup war with his Alakazam, but because he'd set up so much, our moves aren't doing the damage that we need to be doing. It seems doable until Alakazam knocks us down to 7 hit points. Remember, I can't leave Tyranitar with my health in knockout range from Arcanine's Extreme Speed. Alright, from the top, Heracross goes bye-bye with Psychic. That much of the battle at least is guaranteed. The trick with this Alakazam relies on his move choice. I want to be at a minimum of +2 Calm Minds for the rest of the battle while keeping myself one stage ahead of him to maintain the 2-shot. In this battle he's going for more Shadow Balls, so I get my +2 but we leave him at only 88 health. That's probably going to be tiptoeing on that Extreme Speed line. It's a beautiful thing watching Tyranitar's health bar melt from +2 super effective HP water. What a difference that made. Arcanine is out, and it looks like we're outside of Extreme Speed range, moving first and taking him out with another HP water. Executor is why I needed the minimum of +2. It's an unfavorable range to take him out at +2, but add in Sandstorm chip damage and we're good. We unfortunately low really low, so we're exposed to a Sleep Powder, but the next turn of Sandstorm damage finishes him off. We're now facing the champion's Blastoise at +2, 88 health, and asleep. Thankfully, with our special defense setup as well, we're out of KO range from Hydro Pump. We sleep the first turn, oh no, and Blastoise sets up the rain. Alright, now or never, we wake up and hit a +2 stab Psychic for the one-shot. Alakazam has done it. There were a couple of incredibly close moments there for Alakazam, but I really feel like we could push the envelope a bit with him while remaining reasonably consistent. Alakazam clocks in with a round 2 time of 1 hour, 31 minutes, and 34 seconds at level 76 with 10 resets. This took 5 hours and 31 minutes of game time. Let's check out how much time we managed to save over last run. I feel like these splits really demonstrate how little I had to do to solve this run. Throughout almost the entire run, we were behind. We started with bad RNG in the forest, finding far less cocoons, so we lost time against Brock. We then lost more time in catching the Meowth army before Lieutenant Surge, but then things started bouncing back. Throughout the majority of the mid-game, we were within 30 seconds of our previous run, completing the gym challenge 19 milliseconds faster, almost dead even. The intuitive nature and power of Alakazam carried us through the round 1 league as well, completing it 19 seconds faster in the second run, but then, with the addition of HP water and some experience, we ended up saving 29 minutes and 11 seconds at the end of round 2, 10 levels lower with 20 resets. It also took a little under an hour less game time. I've also reworked this graphic and am quite pleased with this version. It's kinda like a marriage of the old one and the new one. Let me know what you think in the comments. On the tier list, this places Alakazam just ahead of Clefable at the start of the C tier. This is actually a mind-blowingly good time considering that we spent over 20 minutes trying to defeat Brock. I'm so excited to take Alakazam through the game with my Versus rules, starting with an Egg move and fully evolved. I really feel like we could be in the A, possibly the S tier in those circumstances. I want to extend a special thank you to those of you generous enough to support the channel through YouTube memberships, Patreon, and Super Chat. I have to extra thank you for your patience as I haven't brought a lot of additional features to them yet. Those are coming soon. For your patience and your generosity, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you've made it to the end of the video, thank you so much. I have some incredibly exciting news for you and the channel. For months, I've been complaining, hopefully not too loudly, about the state and age of my computer. I'll have more details in the next video, but I was finally able to go shopping. And shop I did. Shout out to Ilya at Memory Express. I have no idea if you'll ever see this, but you are a gentleman and a scholar. Comparing a single component that I'm upgrading from old to new, I'm going from a Gen 4 i5 CPU to a Gen 13 i7. I'll prepare a full spec sheet for next video, but for now, I have a computer to build. If you feel like I've earned it, consider leaving a like and comment about the video, what you'd like to see in the future, or just to say hi. Salutations! Last week I announced that my goal is to hit 5,000 subscribers by 2024, so if you'd like to keep up with my content, make sure to hit that subscribe button and enable notifications to never miss a video. It really helps my channel to grow. Alright, enough talking, I'm way too excited and have to start opening boxes. Until next time everyone, take care, bye!